Life is often so busy, taking us here, there, seemingly everywhere. When you aren't able to make it to church, we hope you are fed and nourished by listening to the preaching of God's Word wherever you are at the moment. In the meantime, take care, and God bless.
I did give some serious thought that could be my sermon. No, seriously. We're starting our stewardship campaign, hide your wallets, hide your purses. But I also said many times, being church together. 3 times, I think, 3 points. I haven't mentioned the deadline. So it could be enough. But contractually, I think I have to be here in person outside of COVID. And I think it has to be at least 10 minutes long. So it's been about 2.5 so far. But I need to say so much more because you are so much more, and what we need to do is so much more, being church together, as I want to do. I have 3 points. Point number 1 is thank you, thank you, thank you. And you know I've been here for 10 plus years. You know I try not to gild a lily. I try not to ingratiate. I try to make sure that when I praise, it is worthy of praise. When I critique, it is worthy of critique. I have not, so far, told you something that I don't believe with all my heart, and why start now? When I thought about what you've done in the last 10 years, when I think about where we were and where we are and what we've gone through, I had to begin with thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I thought, you in totality are generous. You are kind. You are supportive. You are permissive. And you are participatory. Yes, I will go through each one of them. You are generous. We send a message that giving is behind, and you respond, and we are able to move on. We don't tell you every single week how we're doing because we don't have to. When you talk about money in a service as much as you talk about Jesus, it means there's not enough of either. And every once in a while, you get busy. Every once in a while, we don't tell you, and then we say, hey, we're a little bit behind, and we send out a little kind missive, and you respond, and then homeostasis again. As a result, we're able to focus less on money and more on mission. I've told you when I came here, I want the financial part of the council meeting to be almost a moot point. Right, Steve? Do we have enough money? Yes, we do. Okay. Are we doing the right things with it? What more can we do? When you don't have enough money at home, you start to eat one another and you start to attack one another. When you have a company, we have an organization. When money becomes the number one topic because you don't have enough of it, especially in a church, you start to say things, you start to think things that are not very nice, and then you spend more time talking about that. That if all we talk about is money and Jesus is in that chair, Jesus would get up and say, I don't want to be part of this. But because of generosity, we can simply say, we're good. You are kind. We see how you care for one another. We see how you react when you come across a new or old friend. We're here to equip you for ministry, and we're here so you can see one another. I hope, to goodness sake, you come here to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ, you come to pray, you come to hear music, and you come to see other people. We don't believe, us 6 clergy and all of the staff, that you come to see us. Because we're going to leave. At some point, we're going to leave, and then if it's all about us, what about you? And we see you out there, and we see you in the donut room. Our donut attendance has to be one of the highest in any ELCA congregation. We see how you treat others when you are in this place. As soon as we come in this place, this is a safe place. This is not a place where we all vote for the same candidate. This is not where we believe all in the same thing. But unlike out there, in here, regardless of how you roll, how you live, who you love, as long as you don't do a few things and you don't hurt one another, kumbaya. We see how quickly you chip in when we say, let's help those who are affected by a natural disaster or life in general. In fact, you people are so kind that if we're not quick enough, we get those emails. Come on, let's go. Let's help the people in Florida. That's great. You are supportive. Thank you so much for always assuming that our hearts are in the right place when we miss the mark. Sometimes us staff, you have over 110 people that you employ, and we make mistakes. They're called oversights. If anyone hurts one another overtly as a senior pastor, I will take care of it myself. But we do make mistakes. There are omissions. Sometimes our emails get the wrong people and all those things, and technology and lists are difficult, but you are always, always, always assuming that we're on the right side of the ledger, and thank you. It's nice to know that we'll always be met with support and goodwill. We deal with an awful lot of heavy stuff around here. We love baptisms because we love baptisms, and so do you, but we like to see new life because we deal with the end of life a lot of times. I'm being attacked by a bug, in case you saw that. You are permissive, which is not you are promiscuous. That is a different sermon altogether. You are permissive. In case you haven't noticed, we try a lot of new things around here. I could scan and see how many of you furrow your brows. We try a lot of new things around this place. In case you haven't noticed, we're apt to be creative and not remain static. It is my less than humble opinion that the churches that do not keep up or go ahead will be left behind and will not be vital and will not exist. And you are permissive. If you come to 10:30, you will come to 10:30 and you will look and say, am I in the right place? Because we changed it. Why did we change it? Because 9 o'clock was doing well and actually even growing, and 10:30 isn't. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We are going to try new things because you have to do that, I think. In case you haven't noticed, very few things are sacred except the things that are. That stuff we do not change. Thank you for the latitude you give us. Whether or not we stand up or sit down, whether or not we say this prayer this Sunday or that Sunday, doesn't make us holy or not. Very few things are sacred and concretized. And I thank you on behalf of everybody else. We're not just trying to mix it up for the sake of mixing it up. We're trying to make sure we're fresh and reach primarily the people who aren't here. And you are participatory. You show up. You are engaged. You are interested. You get involved. You understand that worship is a verb, and so is service to others. That's a partial list, and I mean it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All of us who are part of this team know how blessed we are to be with you. In an interview with somebody who's going to be coming fairly shortly, one of my other colleagues, when trying to talk about the church, all of a sudden just simply said, I think you need to know that the people of St. Andrew are phenomenal. And I thought to myself, why didn't I think of that? So this morning, I thought of it. Point number 2. This coming year is vital in determining where we end up. church as a whole are not doing well. COVID and the economy and only sped up things and the decline that was already underway. This is not fear-mongering. This is not some weird form of motivation to get people on board. The thing is, fewer and fewer people want to be part of a church. And so here's what we think we think. We're going to be open and willing to do some old stuff that always worked. You know, conventional wisdom in education, or how you do business, or, pressing the flesh, or going to see them in person, and all the things that we consider to be antiquated. We had an all-staff meeting, and it was kind of weird how we ended up talking about, as we go into the present and the future, we ended up talking about some of the things, especially when it came to youth, that we used to do, that we stopped doing, because. And then we thought, maybe as we go forward, we have to remember some of the things we did before, the underpinnings, to make sure that we're okay. We're going to run out every ground ball. We're going to dig a little deeper. We're going to look at ministry from many different angles. We're going to try to figure out how we can ring the bell for lifelong attenders and those who have never thought the church was their thing. That's what we're going to try to do. And I want to thank you, the marinated people. And there's a lot of marination at the 9 o'clock. Some of you have been doing this for a long time. And we want to keep you happy and satiated. At the same time, for those who wonder about the church, for those who don't know whether or not they want to come to church, and for those who think you have to change this or modify that in order for me to come, I happen to believe with all my heart, because your heart is good and kind, that we can meld this together. But it won't be everything that you want. I have a little tactic that I've used only a couple of times in ministry when people come up as the senior pastor and they'll say, I don't like this, and I don't like this, and I don't like this. And if it's not about anything sacred, I will pause and I'll say, do you want to know all the things I don't like about this place? And I have them. You want them? I could give you 10. I could give you 15. And then I say, I'm the senior pastor. Yep. Do you think I have more power or more authority to change the things that I want to be changed than you? Yes, you do. Why do you think I don't change them? Because it's not your church. Bingo. And unless someone's really Norwegian, I don't have to explain the rest. Then it's not your church either. It's Jesus' church. And there's some things in worship that I don't like, and we still do, and would prefer to do it this way. But I'm hoping that it scratches your itch, or someone else's itch, or it brings someone closer to the fold. And as long as the sacred is sacred, and this is good and sound, then we can simply be satiated, but also grow. However, the expectation, the hope, and the prayer for everyone who enters and participates in this place is this: the gospel and word and song and prayer and service, living out our faith in daily life, will literally change and improve your life. In the last 30 years, the ELCA, of which we belong, its membership has dropped 40%. I've been ordained 31. I'm starting to think that I may have something to do with it. But I just want to grab your attention that if you owned a company and you had those metrics, there's not something wrong with people. There's something not aligned with how we're doing church and how we're disseminating the holy and how we're capturing the people who are younger. Your kids, your 35-year-old, our 22, 21, 17-year-old. We're after all people. But when people who are older move into Eden Prairie, the church is kind of like, that bug zapper. Older people move in and they come into a community and they'll say, I got to belong to a church. Where should I go? And then hopefully we can, with the help of Pastor Roger and other people, we grab them. But the young people move in and think, where's the brewery? Where's great daycare? How about the schools? List, 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 list. Somehow, if we get them here, through a baptism, through attending a wedding, through coming to a funeral, just needing help, that we treat them thusly, and they say, I never thought. But now I'm thinking. Point number 3. I will now repeat what I thought was the dumbest stewardship thought of all time. And some of you are thinking, especially Steve Moan, who's on the finance committee, maybe Pastor Gail, she has a Sunday off, she's listening and she's texting me, but I have my phone off. The people in the treasury are saying, just distance yourself from the dumbest stewardship thought of all time. But I'm not going to do it. And some of you are thinking, good, maybe this will get them in trouble. Here it is. Said by former pastor, fill in the blank. Former because, didn't get fired because of this, but there's no way you can outgive our ability to spend money doing ministry. Which is also short for, there's no way you can outgive our ability to spend your money. And I think it's true. I never thought it was true until I became a senior pastor of a medium-sized church in Egan. And then I came here to lead you fine people and thought there's no way you can outgive our ability to spend it in ministry. Because we own a camp, right? For those of you who are visitors, we own a camp, Spirit in the Pines. There are 121 camps affiliated with the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. To the best of my ability, there are 2 Lutheran churches in the nation that own their own camps, Mount Olivet in Minneapolis and us. It is a great thing. It is an expensive thing. It is a great thing. It is a costly thing. It is a big deal. If it was easy, more people would do it. We have an early learning ministry. We hold babies. More and more people want us to hold their babies when they go to work. We have a preschool. But now that cities, Eden Prairie in particular, are doing a very good job of giving, shall we say, a more economical way. And then when you go into a school and you have your child in preschool, you are guaranteed enrollment into the school of your choice. And they come to your front door and they pick you up in a school bus. And none of that is true for us. And when a couple of things go like this, and when you leak oil or you have air go out of the tire in one thing, you have a lot of things to keep level. And you know how expensive things are. To have 800 kids come to camp and eat as if they have no stomach capacity. Or the food in the early learning. Or the gas or electric bill that comes here. You have, my guess, a good apartment, a good townhome, a nice home. This home is really, really big. And everything we have is going up rapidly. You know that. There's no way you can outgive our ability to spend money doing ministry. We have one person on our staff who is an admin, and it is not I. Everybody else does their own stuff. We're not complaining. But I will say, because Pastor Peter has been my friend for decades, supervised him when he was an intern. We've known each other a long time. Everything that happens with service, everything that happens with small groups, he has to organize. There's no one to help him organize anything. And so there are things. But this next year, we're going to be very careful as well, because at least with the Finance Committee and myself, it is going to be successive approximations. Most of the things we do, for me to talk, you're already paying me, for Tim to do his great work, for all of us to do the things, we're going to do them, and we're going to do them with greater energy and more intention. And my hope, as we've done before, we will continue to be vital, and we will continue, but this next year is really important as we make our way out of COVID and for the things that happened before. And one last thing I can say, because I can say this without any problem, is that the Finance Committee and all the people, I'm so glad. I want you to know, and I can promise you that everything that you give to this church is handled with great care. Sometimes I have to say they're too frugal because I have an idea every week. And I think partially Pastor Gail is just going away because she's sick of it. But we need to hustle. We need to move our boots. We need to have a mission to live out our faith in daily life. And everyone who comes here, we say, "Hi, my name is," and welcome here, because I do believe with all my heart that we're on the right path, and we just need to keep on doing it, and even more so, do it more intentionally. I believe, and this is why I said yes to the call, first from God, and then you find people, is that I believe the church in my life has partially raised me. And when other things fall apart, and I believe as we try to put Humpty Dumpty back together in society, and I don't know how well that's going to go, but we have a huge say in how this goes. That this is your place, that this is your home, this is your sanctuary, this is your religious family. These are the people you're going to meet in the next weeks and months ahead. Being church together. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This next year is probably as important as I can remember. And there's no way you can outgive our ability to spend money doing ministry. So help us God. Amen.
We hope you found this week's message helpful as you think about how you will live out your faith each day. If you would like to support the ministries at St. Andrew Lutheran Church, you can do so by having your credit card information available and then texting a gift to 952-260-9007. Thank you, and God bless.